So Anil, I welcome you.
Thank you, sir. I'm assuming that everyone is able to hear me. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
My only request is if all of you can go on mute, or someone can mute everyone except me. It could be good so that we don't have too much of disturbance. So, I hope people are able to see the intro slide of the presentation. So just a quick intro. My name is Anil, as Krishna sir said. I'm based out of Bangalore and graduated in '88, and from about 1990 or 1991 onwards till date, for about 30 years, I have been doing HR and recruitment, and slightly different from what I studied in the college. So that is just a quick intro about myself. So, so this is the introduction for the presentation, and I just move quickly to the next slide. Ajay sir, if you can move to the next slide. Okay, so this is the agenda. I will not take much time. My intent is to complete the presentation in about 35-40 minutes and leave more time for questions. Actually, this kind of presentation is not about presentations per se. It is about the questions and the questions being answered and the discussions, because I don't think we are going to solve all our problems in a presentation. We are not going to solve all our problems in a 40 minutes session. So I would encourage you to think through this, post as many questions as possible. I think KK sir is looking at that from the chat box. Because what also happens is, if one of you is asking a question and if we are able to answer, all the remaining also get the answer. So that is the biggest advantage of running a Q&A. So, you don't need 60 questions or 70 questions. Even if there are only 15 or questions or 10 questions, everyone can listen to that. So I will set the first thing. So this is the agenda. We set up the context, and then we will look at what are the fundamentals. And this is not about branch of engineering or discipline of engineering. It's about the fundamentals we learn in engineering and how does it help us in the future. And in the current situation, what are the alternate career options and how to identify the best for you? And that is important. The best for you is super important in the current situation. What I also want to right away suggest, saying that, let's be very clear in our mind, saying that our current education, whatever we have done in our 8 semesters, may or may not be enough for pursuing our next set of career options. There might be some upskilling we will have to do for ourselves. It could be a 3 months or 4 months or 5 months or 1 year kind of an upskilling program, but that would be something which looks to be a definite prerequisite in the current situation. What I'm also trying to, I will also tell you later in the presentation, is that we are in a situation where excellence will also be a prerequisite. Maybe 15-20 years back, or even when we were graduating out of the college, a slightly mediocre, above average student would easily get a job. But in the current situation, excellence will be a very important attribute to have. So we will go by the agenda and we will see how we are moving ahead. I am assuming, I'm just, before we move to the next slide, I'm just assuming that this presentation is for students who have just graduated, students who are probably graduating next year, and trying to look at what else can we do, because the normal placements, normal recruitment, placements happening next March, April, we don't even know what is the current situation. So I think the idea is to have a session like this so that you at least start thinking of what can I do differently after my engineering, or what are the other career options which I can figure out after my engineering, or what are the options available which I did not even know in the Indian context. So I think that is what, let's be very clear, saying that by hearing this 40 minutes presentation or another 10 or 15 questions, we are not solving any global problems. All that it means is that probably some of you, or a large amount of people within you, will start thinking, saying that what else can we do? What more can we do so that we have a career? Okay. Next slide, Jason. Yeah. So I'll just set the context again in this. So I work with Amazon, and as a global company, we get to know what is happening in the US or what is happening in other parts of the world, including Europe or Australia, Singapore, and all that. So sort of connected. To be very honest with you, no, can I go back here? To be very honest with you, nobody seems to have any idea as to when are we going to come out of this current process or current situation. People are predicting October, then December, then March, then June. I don't think anyone has any real view or the line of sight of when are we going to come out of this. I think this unpredictability is the kill factor. If we knew that, okay, this mess will get over by March next year, we can actually plan. Even if someone tells us that it will get over after 1 year, we can plan. But in the current situation, there is no predictability, there is no line of sight, and this unpredictability is really, really creating the problem. And I will tell you a corollary of this is that, and this is sort of some kind of a confirmed numbers in the available in the media about 3 or 4 days back. The message what we are getting is almost 50% of campus offers made in the country today. The date of joining is getting rescheduled. Now, first, probably they would say October, November, then they would say December, January, March, April. I think there is a lot of uncertainty around it. The second is also the fact that there are a number of probably smaller companies which are actually withdrawing the offer. So corporate world will take time. So it is not happening, after Onam or Diwali or Christmas, nothing of that sort. No one has a predictability. The earlier, the better for us, but I think that is going to be important. The second is, I'm just getting slightly specific.
Anil, your mic has gone off. Anil, your mic is in mute.
Is it better now? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, now it's better.
Okay, cool, thanks. So the second thing which is happening is a lot of large organizations, medium-sized organizations are moving to cloud. And I can tell you that maybe 5 years from now or 10 years from now, we will look back in this world and say that, oh, I had a big IT department with 20 servers and 30 servers. That will be a history. Number of reasons for that, but the most important reason will be, cost, and that is going to be a major factor. And of course, there are some other reasons also. I don't want to get into that. So the reason I'm calling that out here is when the companies get back after whenever of the current mess, one of the first things we say they will look is cost optimization. They will have to bring down their costs, and moving to cloud is going to be one of the things. A couple of things around jobs will be, I think the COVID has also taught us that a lot of jobs, really, really a lot of jobs which we never thought can be done from home is going to be done from home permanently. I think the only exceptions probably will be manufacturing and hospitals and hotels and all that. But most other jobs, it is going to be towards work from home. And that is something which you will have to keep in mind because, it's no more getting up in the morning and going to the office. So that will change. Given that there will be a lot of work from home, cybersecurity, and I think, if I'm not wrong, Sangam was talking about it in the last session, this is going to be a big, big opportunity. And believe me, for cybersecurity, you will need some IT skills, but you really don't need any major engineering background. Whether you're a civil engineer or a chemical engineer, cybersecurity is something which you can learn. It is going to be a big deal. And with 30-40% of people working from home permanently, this will be a big change. The other change which we are already seeing now in large multinational companies is that the conventional full-time employment as a concept may or may not happen, in the sense that currently if there are only 10% on contract employment and 90% is full-time employment, this ratio will gradually change. It could be, I don't know, maybe at some point of time it will be 50-50, but contract employment, when I say contract employment, it is not like a daily wages kind of a model. It will be like a 2-year contract or a 3-year contract and with 1 month notice. We are already seeing that because companies don't want to build a permanent headcount and a permanent cost. So those are some of the things which you'll see. And then last but not the least is for any of you who are planning to make a career outside of India, planning for higher studies outside of India, I think at least for the next 1.5, 2 years, that will be under stress. Because even for people who are getting admissions outside of India, it's not just about the travel, it is also about the visa, it is about a lot of other challenges which are going to happen. So these are some of the things which we are going to be surrounded with. The companies are going to take time to come back to normal. There will be a large tendency to move to cloud. There will be many jobs coming up, which will be work from home. Cybersecurity will be a critical area. Contract employment may sort of increase, and of course the cross-border talent. Yeah, Ajay, if you can move it. So, without doubt, these are the top 10 hard skills in demand 2020 and beyond. And this has been proven again and again and again. I don't know, some of you must have seen this a number of times before I am presenting this, but I don't know whether this is in the sort of ascending order or descending order, or in terms of which is more important or less important. But if you take a snapshot of this, these top 10 hard skills will be the most important. And believe me, a lot of these jobs can be done by any of you smart engineers. You really don't have to be a computer science guy or an IT guy, any of the branches. One is, of course, the cloud computing, and I'm telling it from my company's perspective. We are continuing to hire people who have done cloud computing, because that is going to be, just to tell you a brief background, the three major players in cloud computing is Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, and all the three companies put together has only 5% of the total market share. 95% of this market is still not tapped, and I'm talking from an India market context. So this is one thing which you can think over, whether you want to go and do some courses, get something done, get upgraded, because this will be, and I will tell you why I am saying all these skills later, but cloud computing is one. Analytical reasoning, probably analytical reasoning -1 or -2 is if you are good in math, and I think that is extremely important. If you're good in mathematics, basic mathematics, if you can, because what is analytical reasoning? You play with numbers. For example, I will give you a simple small example. If you look at, say, Reliance outlets today, or Big Bazaar outlets today, or any of the supermarkets, they probably have crores and crores of data which has to be processed. There has to be data mining which has to be done, which can give you a lot of patterns and patterns and a lot of stuffs about purchasing behavior of the consumer. So, for example, you must have seen that you go and search something on the Google, and again, when you log in on your Facebook page, it comes on your page, isn't it? So there are a lot of things, a lot of these analytical reasoning skills. Facebook is actively hiring in Hyderabad for those skills. Amazon as a consumer org is hiring, and number of consumer, particularly people in the e-com business, what we inherently call the B2C kind of a business, business to consumer kind of a business. There is a lot of demand for this, and this is probably the biggest of the 9 or 10 which is identified here. This is going to be biggest, and if you are able to think through, learn something around this, this is the second one, which is third one. I think the whole world is talking about this: artificial intelligence and machine learning. My only request is, while everyone says that this is a very good topic, this is extremely fine to learn and grow. My only caution is, don't get into a wrong institute or a wrong training center for getting trained on this. You will have to be choosy around it. This is like 10 years back, 15 years back, people used to learn DB2, maybe 25 years back. DB2 kicks in 5 days, COBOL in 3 days, pay some 2,000 rupees. Don't fall into that trap. You will have to identify, what kind of a course you want to study, where do you want to study, and I think that will become important. And don't look at an institute, and this is just a word of caution, don't look at an institute and find out whether there is a placement happening in that institute. Please don't look at it that way. Look at an institute where you can learn the best. There's no point in getting some small companies do some placement and each of them claiming that we do 50% placements, 70% placements. Does not help. You will have to figure out what is the best way I have to learn, because at the end of the day, you will have to place yourself. So that is about artificial intelligence. Next is about security, and I was explaining to you about the security part in the last slide. This is a big business coming up, and you know, I didn't know. For example, I have been working for the last 30 years. Till 10 years back, I always thought that hacking is a crime, and today you have jobs called ethical hacking. So I don't know what is ethical about hacking, but anyway, so there are jobs like ethical hacking today. So that is something which is important. UX design, it's a very interesting thing. I will give you a simple example, and all these cases I can give you examples of people who are from our college doing great job here. UX design is something I spoke to this friend of mine in the morning today. KK sir, you know about Rajit Kumar in Chennai. He's a guy who graduated from our college somewhere, I think 95 or 96, something around that. Then he was very good at drawing. He was very good in a number of those kind of stuffs. He then joined IIT Bombay in there's a called industrial design team. So industrial design could be like you are designing a bus to you are designing a small shampoo container. It could be anything, it could be anything. So he went through the design. Then he joined a design company. He's actually very busy doing that work. He even continues to draw. For example, his Facebook page a few months show that he was drawing a great piece of Kamala Hassan and meeting Kamala Hassan, getting autographed and all that. And in the last 1 year, he has made 2 short films, and he's now sitting on a big script, and is still working as a UX designer. So if you have creativity like this, I think design is a great space. You have some real good private colleges. Even in Bangalore, there's a college called Srishti Institute of Engineering. Sorry, Srishti Institute of Design Engineering. There are some good institutes, private institutes, small institutes, a class of 40, class of 30. But there is a real demand for design, and it could be any design. It could be a UX design on a screen of a device. It could be a physical design. It could be a design. In fact, today morning he was discussing about what are the parameters you consider to design a chair. It could be as simple as that, but there's a huge demand. So if you have any kind of creativity towards that, I think you should be looking at that. Business analysis, I think, again, is something where you need to understand a bit of a business, but again, it's largely around your understanding of numbers, your understanding of patterns, your understanding of how you play with numbers, how you can, we must have learned a bit and pieces of, at least in our days, we used to call that SQC. I don't know what is that called now, but in terms of statistics and probability and patterns, business analysis is again, and particularly in some of the MBA schools, this is a very important subject. But this again can be learned from outside. You don't have to go to an MBA school. Marketing and sales, these are jobs. If you have a passion to do that, if you feel that I can go out and sell, I think you should look at those kind of stuff. And today what is happening is, particularly in the technology market, if you have to go and sell a technology product, if you have to go and market a technology product, you need a technology background. And that is becoming very, very important again. Now it can be, it can be very simple things, selling for example, I met a candidate, an employee yesterday, who is selling, high density or, high impact telephone exchanges. Now the telephone exchange is smaller than a laptop today, but the number of connections and the number of network it has. So marketing and sales is something which we have not learned in our engineering college, but if you have a flair of that, I think you should look at that and all that. Scientific computing, again, it's all about computing. So if you have some background of IT or computer science, it will be helpful. But I am again repeating, saying that irrespective of your branch of engineering, if you're able to upskill yourself in any of these for maybe 6 months or 9 months, and you will have to do that. I don't think we have an option today. If you continue to sit with what you have done in your engineering, and I'm not discounting or I'm not being judgmental about any branch of engineering or engineering per se, but the current market conditions, I think this is a huge opportunity for us to think differently, saying that, okay, I'm a civil engineer, but I will do something outside of civil engineering, or I'm a mechanical engineer, I want to do something else out of mechanical engineering. Last but not the least is, of course, the video production. This is becoming another big business. And I don't know how many of you are interested, but right from simple things like sound engineering, simple things like editing, a lot of these things. Now, if you ask me saying that, are those jobs today being done by an engineer? And the answer is no. But I can tell you that in the days and months and years to come, the kind of technology products which are coming, the kind of high-tech software related, stuffs which are coming, you will end up having an engineering to do that. And please, for God's sake, let not engineering degree be an impediment in your thinking process. Oh, I have learned engineering, I cannot do sound engineering. What will people think? I have done engineering, how can I go and do UX design? What will people think? Now, if that is the travel, then there's a problem. I think this crisis is also giving us a great opportunity to think differently. And today you have a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities on this one. I think this is so cloud computing, analytical reasoning, artificial intelligence, security, UX design, business analysis, marketing, sales, scientific computing, video production. And, if I am right, a lot of international universities today, again, thanks to the COVID situation, they are providing online education on most of these subjects and may not be expensive at all. Because the moment these large universities open it up on a web, the costing becomes very attractive because they are just have a one broadcast and hundreds and thousands of students will log in rather than a physical class where you have to make your entire money out of say 40, 60 or 120 students. So online courses are not very expensive, and I think if these are some of the areas which you are looking for, I think you should really look at some of them. Ajay, if you can, next slide. If you can. And I will give you a few more options. Media and entertainment. And I will continue on that because when you look at that, it is not just about movie making or a short movie making or a video film making. No, there is a lot of things around media and entertainment. It could be right, like, see, for example, in AWS, one of our biggest customer today is Hotstar. This, the amount of work they do, it's a combination of creativity, software, a bit of analysis, trying to learn about consumer behavior. What was the viewership? For example, in 2019, and I will come to that later also, in 2019 or 2018, I don't remember, 2019, I think, there were 2 days when Hotstar thought that their servers, everything will crash. One was on the semi-final between India and New Zealand World Cup, 50-50. And the second was the final of the IPL towards the 47th, 48th, 49th over when Dhoni was batting. So, those are companies which are and they are waiting for IPL to start. Hotstar is going to be a big beneficiary of that. Of course, the World Cup 2020 is not happening. Continuing on that is sports analytics. This is probably the most, I can go ahead and say that if there is a specialized course which gives you the maximum salary today, it is sports analytics. Without doubt. Whether you are doing sports analysis for cricket or F1 or soccer or basketball, any sport. Yes, most of the opportunities may or may not be outside of India, but this is something which is, for example, I don't know whether you know that each IPL team today has 2 sports analytics. So they, while seeing the cricket match, you would have seen 2 guys sitting in front of the laptop. There's a bunch of analytics happening. Now, the only thing is you need to know a bit about the game, and you also need to know a bit about the technology. Today, I can tell you that, I don't know how many of you, maybe some of you follow F1. If you look at F1s happening almost every Sunday now in Europe, you will see for each team, that is for each F1 driver, there are at least 15 people sitting and looking at the monitors, at the laptop monitors. There's so much, and that is just about one game. There are a lot of games happening like that. That is again a specialty. And fortunately or unfortunately, there are not too many universities. I don't think there is hardly an institute in India which teaches you this, but again, a lot of online stuffs are available. I think if you are interested in looking at it, you can make a career out of it. Believe me, you can make a career out of it. You don't have to be a sports player, but you can make it. But you need to know something about the game. How do you analyze that and all that? Then we come to agriculture and water management. This is something which the central government is looking at so we are working very closely with the central government. And we know that there is a lot of plan around this. So it's largely a combination of IoT and some of the IT related work there. But I think, you must have already seen some of the agri-tech companies, including large names like ITC and all that. They're already into that. Yes. So now what they're doing is they're hiring agriculture engineers and then teaching them software. They're doing all those kind of combinations because the ready material is not available. But I'm told that ICAR Indian Council of Agricultural Research, yeah, ICAR kind of institutes are going to start on this. And again, there are going to be courses available, agriculture and water management. And this is going to be largely government jobs. But again, a lot of opportunity around that. The last is healthcare and pharma. I will focus on healthcare because what we are seeing is that many hospitals, not the big corporate hospitals, but the medium-sized hospitals, the kind of hospitals we have in Trishur, I think there is a lot of, what the older term used to be computerization, but now it is more of automation. There's a lot of automation coming in all this healthcare industry. Healthcare industry historically was always run by owners and a couple of doctors. Now gradually professionals are joining these hospitals. How to market this hospital, how to place this hospital, how to manage the costs in this hospital, how do we make better profits. And many hospitals in the next 3-5 years will go for an IPO. So today, if you look at, say, Apollo Hospital or Manipal Hospital or maybe some other hospitals in the country, they have started attracting a lot of professional talent and not just doctors and nurses. Same is going to happen with a lot of hospitals. So I feel that even in a small place like Trishur, we might have 10 or 12 hospitals. In the next few months or maybe a year or so, these hospitals will have to do that. So they don't have a choice. They will have to attract professional talent, run the talent around with. And it could be as simple as, I know that there was a couple of civil engineers who were designing the entire hospital layout for the Apollo Hospitals, Chennai. So it could be as simple as that, designing a layout of the hospital, right to designing some software for the hospital. So these are some of the 10 plus 4. These are some of the 14 topics which I wanted to present to you. I have a couple of more slides. I will come there. But the idea is that look at some of these things, and if possible, we can share the details later through mail. Look at some of these things and see how it works for you, because what works for Mr. X will not work for Mr. Y. So it is all individual choices. It is all individual way you want to look at it. Ajay, if you can look at the next slide. Ajay, next slide. No, go to the next. Sorry, I will come back here. Go to the next. Yeah. So I think what are the next steps? You have identified, and this is just a sample. And I think if there is anybody individually interested in connecting with me later, I can do that. I can send you some more material. I wanted to restrict this to a 30-40 minutes conversation, so I just picked up the top 14 of them. Next step is, I think you have to identify an option which you are passionate about. And that is what I was saying, that 20 years back and slightly above mediocre or a sort of above average kind of a student could have easily got a job. Today, you have to be excellent. And if you have to be excellent, you have to like that job. That as simple as that. So it is no more a sort of a philosophical statement. It is a fact of the matter that if you're not liking something, don't do it. That's simple. But don't tell me that I don't like studies, so I'm not going for a job. That is not the joke. The joke is that, whatever you want to do, even if you want to go and do cine production, given your electronics engineering background, and do some sound engineering, do some internship with some good studios in Cochin or Trivandrum, learn everything about it in the 6 to 12 months, and then, get into a decent, whatever you want to do, you have to like it. And that is extremely important. Second is find out what is the best way to upscale yourself. And I repeat what I said at the beginning of the session, saying that I would like to believe that maybe 80-90% of you would actually need some kind of an upskill, some kind of upscaling, so that you sort of change the track of what you have been doing. Because I don't know, and I'm being very honest about it. I know Trishur for some time. I was born and brought up in that place. If you look at a chemical engineer today, or a civil engineer today, or a mechanical engineer today, or an electronics engineer today, how many job opportunities do we have? I'm just not talking of Kerala, or it's very limited in the current market situation. So you will have to look at something alternate, you will have to see that, okay, let me do this 3 months course, let me do this 6 months course. This is what I like. Let me excel. And maybe you have to go and work in a company for 3 months or 6 months without getting any salary. Those are all fine in the current situation, I think. And I always tell, even in my office, I tell my juniors, saying that please treat your career as a marathon, not as a sprint. I think that is extremely important. Don't be in a hurry. I would like to believe that people who are picking up a job, you are probably in your early 20s, you have 30 years of runway for your career. So never be in a hurry. You will end up making wrong choices. So give time for yourself, learn, pick up the optimal channel, top scale yourself. Then, you will have to do some experiments. You will have to do some experiments, write some papers. I think you have to stand out. You go and say, for example, again, I come back to the sound engineering topic. You go, you learn something online, 3 months, 4 months, then you go and approach a studio in Cochin saying that, I want to work here, I want to learn. You don't pay me salary, that's fine. I will work for 6 months. You work for 6 months, learn, start making papers. What can be done better? What are the things which we are learning? How can we grow that? And send it to some companies. And that is how it is happening even outside of India. Send it to some companies saying that I have 1 year experience. These are the options which I see. Look at the company we are talking about yesterday. The whole country was talking about an LLP-based company, which is replacing Zoom. They have been working on that for 6.5 years. It is not that suddenly COVID came, Zoom demand came, and they started working on Zoom. No, 6.5 years they have been working on this. And even now, they are saying that we don't have enough funds to make it, to reach every consumer in the country. Of course, somebody will fund them, seeing their success. They will fund it for the next 2-3 months. But what I'm trying to say is you will have to give time to yourself. I understand the challenges. We have all gone through those challenges, that anxiety, or, you complete your engineering and more than you yourself, people start asking, have you got a job? This guy has got a job. Did you have a job? You will have to take it for yourself because you are deciding how you want to do that. So that is third. And fourth is, that's what I say, identify some organizations. I can help you to some extent. Many of us in the alumni can really help us to identify organizations, write to them. At some stage, they will say, okay, this guy looks interesting. Let's meet him. May or may not turn out to be a job for yourself. But I think these are all things which you will have to start doing differently. Because if you are waiting for, and I can tell you one more thing, because what we are hearing is probably next year campus recruitments maybe 60% less, 50% less. Nobody knows about it. So if you wait till next year, for people who are graduating this year, if you wait till next year, another batch is joining you in the same competition. So use this time to learn something new, learn something which you're passionate about. And I can tell you that it's a matter of time. India as a country, whether it is the economics of it or even the social aspects of it, we have come out of all these messes. It's a matter of time. And use this time. Use next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and I don't know how long is this problem is going to last, but use this time, learn something new. And I go on repeating this because that will give you a difference. For example, I can give you examples of ourselves. For example, when we go and interview from a university, and when we meet, so first, of course, is that there is a written test or an online test. That is something you will always have to clear. But then you come for an interview and you say that I got X percentage in mechanical engineering, or what, computer science, whatever the engineering, and then you say that Anil, I have done 6 months of course in AI and ML or AI or anything like that. He gets a preference, 100%. He may not be able to, that certificate course may not be able to help him in clearing the entrance test or the online test. That is something you will have to fight that battle for yourself. But the moment you come for an interview and say that, no, I have gone through a course on AI, or I have gone through a course in retailing, or I have gone through a course in sales, or even I have gone through a course in sound engineering, people will be very eager to talk to you. And you will always be preferred above a student who has not done an upgrade. And that is important because today people are, every organization is looking for people who can readily deliver from tomorrow. So I think these are some of the things which I wanted to share with you because let's be very clear. And KK sir also told me last week when we were talking about it, saying that we currently have about 115 people in this call. And maybe could be about 100 of them could be the students. I don't think we will have a solution which is ready money for next Monday morning for all the 100 students. You have to make a personal choice. You will have to plan how do you want to move ahead on that. And that is the way it has to happen. Don't think that, okay, the other person, and I'm being honest about it because when I joined my engineering in '83 for mechanical, I had no clue what is mechanical engineering. Many of my friends were joining mechanical engineering. I also joined mechanical engineering. But those days are so different. Today, you have to make a choice out of yourself. And that is becoming important. So I think these are some of the things which can help you. And Ajay, if you can just move to the next slide. Ajay. Yep. Move to the next slide. I'll come back to this slide later. Yeah. So this is a very important saying, you know. So sorry, next. Ajay, next. Yep. What, so where they have exactly. This, just read this. Of course, this is said by Jeff Bezos, but this is very important, and this is applicable to everybody. This is not applicable to just some great technology. It is applicable to you, me, KK sir, everybody. One thing that I tell people is, if you're going to do anything new or innovative, you have to be willing to be misunderstood. If you cannot afford to be misunderstood, then for goodness sake, don't do anything new. If you're trying something new, തെറ്റിദ്ധരിപ്പിക്കാൻ എന്തായാലും തെറ്റിദ്ധരിക്കും ആൾക്കാർ നിങ്ങളെ. ഓ, ഇയാൾക്ക് വട്ടാണ്, ഇയാൾക്ക് തലയ്ക്ക് അസുഖമാണെന്നൊക്കെ പറയും. But if you're doing an experiment, it has to be misunderstood. And that is why I always say that. And why I'm saying all this also is because everybody cannot plan for a startup. Like a startup or fashion statement, I thought we are not getting into that mode. Everybody, so we hear one Zoom story, or we hear one, Redbus story, we hear a Swiggy story, or we hear a Uber story. What we don't hear is, for one successful startup, there are probably 499 unsuccessful startups. We are not, I'm not even suggesting, if you have some entrepreneurship blood and if you have some ideas, that's always open, but be open for experimenting with your career. Try to do something different. Yeah, yes, sir, if you can move that. Ajay? Yeah, so this is important, and I will tell you what it means. You have to think yourself that this is still day one after I left my college. Even after 6 months, you are doing a course, but just think that I'm fresh out of my college. Don't ever think that it is taking me 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, 12 months to get a job. That will kill your mental state of mind. Always say it is still day one after I have come out of my college. And that will reflect in your confidence. That will reflect in your interview process. That will even interview in a casual conversation. Because one of the challenges, and I'm telling you, I have been doing campus recruitment for almost 20 years now. One of the challenges which we face is, students, when they come for an interview process, and I don't want to digress into an interview training, but when you get in an interview process, one of the first things the interviewer will look is, how confident are you in talking? You might know the best of content in your mind, unless you can articulate it with a very positive body language, you are not going to make it. So that is very, very important. And it really you don't have to worry about English, whether you have a Malayalam accent or a Punjabi accent or a Gujarati accent. That is not important at all. It is how confidently can you go and talk. That is number one. And number two is, never ever bluff in an interview. If you don't know something, raise your hand saying that I don't know. That gives you more marks than beating around the bush and going round and round and round. Because all these interviewers, they will figure out in the first 20 to 30 seconds whether you know the answer or you're beating around the bush. So just 2 points on this. That is, one is, always have a state day one, have confidence, don't bluff. These are most important, some of these things, you have to start. First of all, you have to go back. I don't know whether you're in the hostel or you're in the home, but go back home or think through in the evening, saying that, okay, I have heard a few things. Some things look okay, but what should I do next? This entire 40 minutes, it's exactly about, I think, 40 minutes. This entire 45 minutes is not providing you a solution. It's providing you a path, a roadway to think about a solution. I have set up no goalposts for you. I'm just saying that these are the goalposts available at a distance. You start traveling that journey. This ideally should trigger something in your mind saying that, oh, Let me think differently. Let me try to do something. Because engineering has taught me a lot of things. I'm good in math. I'm good in differential equations. I can do SQC. I can understand trends. I can understand patterns. I can do logical reasoning. I can do problem solving. If somebody says that what should be the shape of a mouse you use in your laptop, there should be some logic. Sometimes we ask this interesting question. We give the mouse to the student and say that, why should this be the shape of the mouse? Give us 5 reasons. So think, we'll have to start thinking like this, particularly for design. If you're interested in design, why should be the size of a mobile like this? Why should be the size of a mouse like this? Why should keyboard look like this? It could be simple things, very, very simple things. You must have seen very weird shape of shampoo containers, and why should a soap be designed in that way? So you'll have to, if someone is interested in designing and thinking of those kind of things, these are all great opportunities. Why I'm bringing up also is the fact saying that the conventional jobs which you used to get after mechanical or civil or electrical or production, the conventional jobs which we have been getting in the past, that is going down rapidly. The only savior today, to some extent, is the IT industry. To some extent, retailing will pick up in a big way, because I think all the big retailers and e-com still hold only 10% market share. Retailing will pick up. Some of these industries will pick up. Oil and refinery, oil industry kind of stuff over a period of time, may not be immediately, but pick up, because these are all things which consumer is using, and we are at about 133 crore people in this country, and this will grow. So anything to do with consumer, anything to do with consumer buyer, it will continue to grow. So you don't have to look at the industry today. Look at what are the skills you would want to. But these are some of my thoughts which I thought could be useful for you. But my request, my prayer for you is that, first of all, you will have to start thinking, saying that I will have to do something different. And if I have to do something different, what should be my choice? And if this is my choice, how should I train myself? How should I go through? What should be my plan for the next 1 year? And then how do I start looking for a job? That is a logical way, because if you waste time now and think that today or tomorrow some company will come, they will give me an offer based on my mechanical engineering or civil or electric, whatever be the branch, you might have a real tough time. So my request is, start thinking, even if you are in your 7th semester now, I think 7th semester must have just started for the pre-final, start thinking what you want to do. Because engineering, it's like you will anyways come out. You will anyways come out by next March or April or May, whenever that course gets. But after that, what? And it is also important that you pick up a job after your courses before the next batch graduates. Because by the time the next batch graduates, you have double the number of people for the market. So I pause for a moment and thank you for your time. And Krishna Kumar sir, I leave it to you how, if there are any questions. But if there are anything which you want to add on this.
Yeah, thank you, Anil. I think you have been telling about the new job prospects. We have been thinking of giving a chance for internships to our students. So in the new normal, how do you think an internship is going to work for non-IT jobs?
Normally, internship is not a big problem, normal situation. But in the current situation with many factories, many offices closed, I don't know how many companies would encourage virtual internship. That is something which will have to be thought through. Big companies are doing it, I know for sure. Big, large organizations are continuing doing that. For example, the Pepsi and the Coke and the Union, those big companies, they are doing virtual internship. But I really don't know whether an Apollo Tyres or an FACT or Cochin Refineries is anyways planning to do virtual, because at this point of time, many of them are working at 30% capacity production, 40% capacity production. That is going to be something, but that is something. But the other problem is many large companies, when they say internship, one of the prerequisites will be that the student has to be in that college and internship should be part of the curriculum. they may not encourage students who have already graduated for an internship. So there is a different. Sorry, Krishna, you're saying something.
Yeah, I understand. That's a kind of query we had. It was for the students of the present in the present batches. We had a plan to introduce internship in the college, but due to this COVID conditions, it has become almost impossible. And for most of the jobs you have been mentioning, which are the new job profiles, at least some of them needs kind of new training, because nowadays people in the industry, even they don't know what is that, what is what.
Yeah. So see, Krishna sir, to be honest with you, I think I really don't know, whether all the students will end up getting an internship. Maybe 15%, 20%, 25% of students might get internship. But what also will happen is, if you go for an internship, say let's assume that you get an internship with a design company. If you go without any skill upgradation in design and go for a 2 months or a 3 months internship, I don't know whether you will have enough opportunity to learn there. Because first 1 month you will be trying to figure out what is this company doing, what is this and what is that and all that. And within a month or two, how much can you learn? So if it was a conventional internship program, no problem. But if you're looking at something new, my suggestion always will be upgrade yourself first and then go in for an internship. Then it will add, a lot of value, a lot of things around that. Because purely, say for example, I think Jacob Neto was there in this call. He was in Apollo Tyres. So he himself was saying one other day, saying that students come for 2 months for an internship, either for the Kadamasheri plant or the Perambra Chalakudi plant. By the time they understand what is happening, it's almost 2 months. So if you're looking at internship as a learning opportunity, if internship is something that, okay, we get an exposure and companies might convert them, then it's a different challenge. But if you're looking as 8 weeks internship or 10-week internship purely as a learning opportunity, my suggestion is learn something before that and then go. You can ramp up fast. You can actually demonstrate your skills and even have an opportunity to, get a conversion out of a internship.
Yeah, Anil, this is Pramod. If we can add to it, KK sir, you asked a specific question of non-IT. Can I, Anil?
Yes, Pramod. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. See, to be very specific, what Anil said is right. And for non-IT, currently, even in Mumbai, companies, both manufacturing in chemical, petrochemical, and even metals, and even consulting companies, all of them, we currently are going, I can say almost nil internships. We all used to have plenty of them coming to our offices, even manufacturing or even consulting. But I don't see that's happening in next 3 to 4 months. The reasons are plenty because, even if we are willing, we ourselves are operating at 10%. Private companies and a lot of other companies, the policies of companies are such that we can't operate in full flow. And there are some big companies, very big companies into engineering sector who went into full flow and then they had cases within their office and they have to retreat and then reduce. So it is sadly tough time for those people or the students. I only can say upgrading the skills is the right thing, but for considering the times that we are in now. Thank you.
Yeah, but Pramod, my question is, upgrading the skill means other than the syllabus content, they can only rely on some online learning now.
That's
the easiest thing. Yeah. So how should they choose the accreditation?
So let me give you an example. So for example, today there are some good institutes which can give you sort of 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, number of courses available on AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning. And these are all recognized international institutes. Either Patraglelo Institute, we will have international institutes which can give its certificate, carries a value. You learn a lot of things. And in fact, sometimes I feel that these online stuffs are better than classrooms because many of the recognized online, at the end of the course, immediately there is a test. You have a course for 3 hours, again, immediately after that, there is a test. So it is a very effective way to do that. And if I am right, one of the best universities, and that was, I'm subject to correction, but one of the best universities in the US, which were providing AI and ML 6 months course, was costing around 29,000 Indian rupees, plus some taxes or something like that. So it is not as if it's some $20,000, $30,000. These are amounts which, I would like to believe that for the value you get from that course, the money is worth it.
Yeah, Anil, there is one question from Atmara. It's a specific question. What are the job prospects of BTech EEE students? Electrical and electronics engineering.
It's tough, sir. Let me be honest. And Atma, I can take this offline with you later. But in the current situation, electrical, electronics, IT, computers, these are the guys who are slightly more close to IT and software. That could be the right alignment, unless people want to do. See, cyber security is very good course for electronics engineering. I don't know the difference between electronics and electrical and electronics, but cyber security is something which is an extremely good course, well in demand. That is a course which can be done. But so all those topics which I discussed, that is agnostic of any branch of engineering. The computer science and the IT guys might have slight advantage, but otherwise, how long does it take someone to learn database structures? It doesn't take too much, and you don't have to learn the entire computer science ecosystem to become a cyber security guy or to become a designer on a software. You don't need that. You just learn what you need. So I would like to believe that it does not really make a difference between electronics and mechanical and civil and anyone for that matter.
Yes, Anil, Dr. Paul has been confirming what you have been telling about, like the continuous learning, choosing their own path based on opportunities. So he's confirming. Even in fact, in the previous lecture, the first lecture, he also mentioned these things. So we are confirming to a particular pattern, the new normal. That's good. I think we'll collect all these comments and we'll publish that. It'll be good, a good resource. Arjun, welcome, Arjun.
Good to be here. Hello, Anil. Hello, Pramod. Hey, I wanted to comment on one question. That is a very good question that you just asked about electrical and electronics engineering. While I agree with Anil that, look, everybody can learn computer science, I would like to flip it a little bit. Look, you're going to be all in a knowledge economy. It's an information age, but you're very quickly getting into this, a difference between information age and knowledge age. So the students who are coming from the college today, 10 years from now, you're going to be in a knowledge era. And you asked a question specifically about electrical and electronics engineering. I can guarantee you that before your lifetime, we would have landed in another planet. No question about it. Gentlemen, be ready for that world. If you're out of college, electrical and electronics, if I were to go back to college today, that's what I would do. I did computer science, but if I were to start my engineering, that's the course I would do. The reason is robotics is at its infancy. You're going to be thinking about new ways of transportation. So the opportunities are unlimited. However, if you're looking for a job, that's a different question, right? So you're getting into a space where everybody will need to know how to code. If you do not know how to code, it's like saying today that I do not know how to speak English. So if you do not know how to deal with information and data and basics of machine learning, it's like saying that I do not have the tools for doing this. So it's a bold new world out there. There's a tremendous amount of opportunities that are going to come. So think beyond just the job. Think of what's going to happen 5 years, 10 years down the line, and then just get ready for it. But it's a fascinating, but also a very scary world that's coming out there. So it's a great time to get out of college as well.
Yeah, Arjun, thanks, Arjun. I just wanted to put the context here because, and maybe that is my mistake or error of judgment. I didn't do too much of a prediction around, say, 5 years, 10 years from now. I can actually, get connected with some of you if interested, because in my mind, in my mental model, what is working is what I went through when I came out of my college in 1988. For me, what was more interesting is what can I pick up in the next 6 to 12 months? So there's a lot of these pressures working, but Arjun is right. If you have some time, you can read a lot of stuff. Robotics is something, unfortunately or fortunately, we don't have too many Indian enterprises doing that, but robotics is something which is picking up very, very fast. And I don't know how many of you, and believe me, whatever little I've heard in the last 2 weeks, getting an admission into a US university or a university outside of India may not be as tough as it has been in the past. I don't know when are they starting the physical classes, but I'm already hearing that the fees are coming down because all the international universities, they survive on international students. They don't survive on local students. So the fee structures are going down. Banks are more and more relaxed and flexible in giving you study loans. So also look at that if you have an opportunity to go outside and study. Of course, we have to come out of the situation. Flights have to start. There are a lot of other those challenges, but look at those options also. But don't lose or don't waste next 6 to 9 months, by which time possibly the industry will get back or starting to get back to normal. Don't waste time. Don't sit idle. Learn something, upskill something, whatever you want to, but what you want to. So I just saw a small chat box comment saying that I'm a civil engineer and I wanted to do photography. I think you should be doing that. You should not be even asking for that. You just should be doing that. There are some couple of good institutes there. Go learn photography. I can tell you, there's a very close friend of mine, of course, not from our college, he's from CT Trivandrum. He is one of the 8 photographers identified by National Geography Channel. And they fund a 1-month travel every year. He belongs to Thrissur, but he studied in CET, 1 year junior to us. So,
Anil, there is one similar to that in our alumni also, Premjit.
Yeah, Premjit.
82, 86. He's a recognized photographer of BBC and National Geographic. So I can connect that student with him.
Yeah, I think we should do that because. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, I forgot the name of the student there. So don't think, and I can tell you in Malayalam, engineering പഠിച്ച photography ചെയ്തു തുടങ്ങിയാൽ എന്താ പറയണ്ടേ അങ്ങനെ ആലോചിക്കരുത്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഫോട്ടോഗ്രാഫിയോട് താല്പര്യം ഫോട്ടോഗ്രാഫി ചെയ്യും. നാട്ടുകാർ എന്തെങ്കിലും പറയട്ടെ. Because നാട്ടുകാരുടെ ചെലവിലല്ലോ നമ്മൾ കഴിയണേ. So be very clear.
We have got a very good example of about 150 of our alumni who are into non-engineering tasks. Many of them, films, acting, music, you name it.
So think through that. I think, ഇത് പെട്ടെന്ന് കേട്ടിട്ട് വീട്ടിൽ പോയിട്ട് നാളെ തൊട്ട് ഞാൻ ഫോട്ടോഗ്രാഫി ചെയ്യാം അങ്ങനെ ആലോചിക്കരുത്. You take time, think about what is your liking, what is your passion. വേണമെങ്കിൽ സീനിയേഴ്സായിട്ട് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുക, കൃഷ്ണകുമാർ സാറായിട്ട് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുക, വേറെ പ്രൊഫസേഴ്സായിട്ട് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുക. Think about it, discuss it. And if your heart tells you to do that, just do that. Don't go by.
Anil,
sorry.
Anil, are you looking at the? Are you looking at the chat box, Anil?
No, I can't see. Only some pop-ups are coming.
Okay. Yeah. There is another question by, I think it is by Professor Manoj. Placements have gradually become an integral part of the institute. So does it affect the institution's quality parameters in academics? If you stress more on placements.
I missed your voice.
Placements have gradually become an integral part of an institute's offerings, which was not the scenario earlier. Now the students pay special attention to placement.
See,
does it affect the institution's quality parameters in academics?
But I will tell you something, because it is, so let us look at this. Does an IIT or NIT even talk about placements? Do an IIM or a ISB or do they even talk about placements? You go to an IIM website, they are not even talking about placements. So it is not just a philosophical thought. It depends upon the institute. IIT Bombay, you will just find some 4 or 5 companies that page. They have not even updated because people know that if you go and study, you are going to get a job 100%. The challenge starts when you go down the rank and when you say that we are focused. If tomorrow, sir, Manoj, let's assume that Manoj and the principal says that we are focusing only on high quality education. Placement is a natural output of it. It is difficult to position it in today's world. That's all. I'm not saying whether it's the right answer or not. If today we take a call saying that we are going to get a lot of guest faculty, high quality education will happen, placements will happen. I'm not even doubting for a moment, but will students wait for 4 years to see how it happens? I think so. It's a thin line but I can also give you one input on campus placements. Probably in 2021 or latest by 2022, the entire placement model will change. Any number of students can pick up any number of offers, and they can decide where to go and join. So just because you got an offer from an earlier company, you cannot be moved out of the placement process in the subsequent companies. That rule is anyways coming. I think some of the engineering IITs and IIMs are starting in 2021 itself. But at least for government engineering colleges, I think they are going to push saying that no more socialism in colleges. Companies will have the right to come and pick up the best talent. So if you're best, you will get 5 offers. If you're not so best, you might just get 1 offer or no offers. 2022, 100% it will start.
എനിക്ക് എല്ലാവരോടും ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ പറയാനുണ്ട്. നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും ഇപ്പൊ ചോദിക്കുന്നത് പുതിയ ജോബ് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി എവിടെ വരും, എങ്ങനെ വരും എന്നുള്ളതാണ് എല്ലാവരും ചോദിക്കുന്നത്. എല്ലാവരും ഒന്ന് അജയ് ജെയിംസിന്റെ ആ സ്ക്രീനിലേക്ക് ഒന്ന് നോക്കൂ. അജയ് ഒന്ന് മാറിയിരിക്കാമോ? നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികള് ആ പിന്നിൽ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ദേ ആർ മേക്കിംഗ് എ റോബോ. ഇവിടെ IEDC സെന്ററിൽ ദേ ആർ മേക്കിംഗ് എ റോബോ. 2 മാസം മുമ്പ് നമ്മൾ ആലോചിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടാവില്ല ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു കാര്യം ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്. ഇപ്പൊ അതിന് ആവശ്യക്കാരുണ്ടായി, അവരതിന് അവസരത്തിന് തുയർന്നു. അങ്ങനെ അവര് ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ കോവിഡ് കെയർ സെന്ററിൽ ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ധാരാളം മോഡലുകൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കി കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. സീ ഹൗ ദേ ടേൺ ദെയർ സ്കിൽസ് ടു എ പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ ടാസ്ക്. അപ്പൊ എനിക്ക് ഏറ്റവും നല്ല എക്സാമ്പിൾ ആയിട്ട് തോന്നുന്നത് അത് തന്നെയാണ്. നമ്മൾ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു, നമുക്ക് നല്ലൊരു ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി കണ്ടു, അത് അവരത് ചെയ്യുന്നു. ആൻഡ് ദേ വിൽ ബിക്കം എക്സ്പേർട്സ് ഇൻ ദാറ്റ്. അനിൽ?
Yep. No, I think, see, അവർ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു, അവർക്ക് കുറെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കേണ്ടി വന്നു, അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടാണ് അവർ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ ബൈ ഡിഫോൾട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ തന്നെ അപ്സ്കെയിൽ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്.
ആക്ച്വലി എക്സ്പെരിമെന്റിംഗ് ആണ്. ഇപ്പൊ കോവിഡ് നാട്ടിക സെന്ററിലേക്കാണ് ഒരു 6 റോബോട്ടാണ്, റോബോട്ടിക് നേഴ്സാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. നേഴ്സ് ചെയ്യുന്ന എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും, ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ BP, തെർമോമീറ്റർ, അതുപോലെ ഓക്സിലോമീറ്റർ, പൾസ് ഓക്സിലോമീറ്റർ, ആ റീഡിങ്സ് എടുക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ലൈൻ ഫോളോയിങ്, ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ ലൈൻ ഫോളോയിങ് റോബോട്ട് ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. അപ്പൊ അത് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ആക്ച്വലി കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ സയൻസ് സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് അല്ല, കോഡിംഗ് വരെ ചെയ്യുന്നത് മെക്കാനിക്കൽ പ്രൊഡക്ഷൻ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ആണ്.
നിങ്ങൾ അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ പറയാം.
അല്ലല്ല, ഇപ്പൊ ബ്രാഞ്ച് സ്പെസിഫിക് അല്ലാതെ അനിൽ അത് സൂചിപ്പിച്ചിരുന്നു. ഞാൻ കാണിച്ചു കൊടുക്കുന്ന ഏറ്റവും നല്ല എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇത് തന്നെയാണ്. ഒരു എഞ്ചിനീയർക്ക് എങ്ങനെ ജോലി കിട്ടുന്നത് പേടിക്കണ്ട, ഇത് തന്നെയാണ് നല്ല എക്സാമ്പിൾ.
So,
congrats Ajay and the student team. കുറച്ചുകൂടി പബ്ലിസിറ്റി കൊടുക്കണം. 2 കാര്യങ്ങളാണ്. ഒന്ന്, കോളേജിന്റെ ബ്രാൻഡ് വാല്യൂ കൂടും. രണ്ടാമത്, ആൾക്കാർക്ക് ഇതിലൊരു കൺസെപ്റ്റ് വരും. ആൻഡ് they will have confidence.
ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരു ഇലക്ട്രിക് വെഹിക്കിളും ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അവിടെ കോവിഡ് അവിടെ നാട്ടികയിൽ 1500 പേഷ്യൻസിനെ അഡ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള സെന്ററാണ്. അപ്പൊ അവിടെ ഫുഡ് ഡെലിവറിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടായിരിക്കും. അതുപോലെ ഈ നഴ്സ്, ഹെൽത്ത് വർക്കേഴ്സിന് എല്ലാവർക്കും പോയി റീഡിങ് 3 times a day എടുക്കണം. അപ്പൊ 1 time അവർ ചെയ്തിട്ട് ബാക്കി 2 times റോബോട്ടിനെ കൊണ്ട് ചെയ്യിക്കാനാണ്.
അജയ്, ഇത് നമുക്ക് നാളെയോ തിങ്കളാഴ്ച വിളിക്കാം. യു ഷുഡ് മേക്ക് കേസ് സ്റ്റഡി പേപ്പേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് ദിസ്. ഇതൊരു 10 ആൾ അറിയണം.
അതാണ് ശരിയാണ്, അറിയണം. പബ്ലിസിറ്റി പോരാ.
ഒരു കേസ് സ്റ്റഡീസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ട് ഇറ്റ് വിൽ മോട്ടിവേറ്റ് അതേഴ്സ്. ഇപ്പൊ ഈ കോളിൽ ഒരു 105 പേര് ഇപ്പൊ ഉണ്ട്. ദീസ് വിൽ മോട്ടിവേറ്റ്. ഇതിപ്പോ എല്ലാവരും പോയി റോബോ ഉണ്ടാക്കണം എന്നല്ല ഞാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്. നാളെ you will look at നിങ്ങളുടെ സ്വന്തം സ്കൂട്ടറും സ്വന്തം കാറും നോക്കിയിട്ട് is there a way I can improve a few things? These are some of the thoughts. അല്ലാണ്ട് ഇതിപ്പോ will that provide me a job tomorrow? Maybe not, but it will provide you additional skills.
ആക്ച്വലി ഇത് നബാർഡ് ഫണ്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്. എക്സ്പെരിമെന്റിംഗ് ആണ്. നമുക്ക് ഉറപ്പൊന്നുമില്ല എത്രത്തോളം ഫംഗ്ഷൻ
ആരും ഉറപ്പോടുകൂടി ഒന്നും തുടങ്ങില്ലല്ലോ.
ഒരെണ്ണം നേരത്തെ ചെയ്ത് കൊടുത്തിരുന്നു മെഡിക്കൽ കോളേജിലേക്ക് ഫുഡ് ഡെലിവറിക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്. ഒരു
പേപ്പറിൽ കണ്ടു.
No. So, Anil, there is another interesting. Ajay, please. Anil, there is another interesting question from Shruti Saji. What she's asking is, ഇപ്പൊ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി ഒക്കെ അപ്കമിങ് പുതിയ സ്കില്ലിലേക്ക് പുതിയ കാര്യങ്ങളിലേക്ക് മാറണം എന്ന് പറയുന്നു. However, if it does not open up any job opportunities right after a student graduates, just for the reason that the industry is not well equipped for the new talents.
I don't know whether, see, I think it is partially true and partially false. Because, see, at the end of the day, the biggest discussion for the last 10-15 years in IT industry has been, how do we teach students so that they are ready for a job? So all the large organizations were training engineers for the first 2 months or 3 months or whatever be the time of duration. So nobody was job ready when somebody came from out of the college. And that will continue to be there. Some companies have a good training program, some companies may not have. And if I am running a company, and if there are 2 students in front of me, one straight from the college and other who has done a 6 months upskilling on, say, AI or ML, I will always prefer the trained guy, isn't it? So I think that will be a reality. We can discuss that, saying that, okay, company is not equipped, company is not trained, but who is the winner or who is the loser in the game? Company. So you know the number of engineers generated in this country every year. So I think we need to be slightly more practical as to how do we do this, because we can talk a number of things, but at the end of and this was a very hot topic in NASSCOM for last 10 years. I was part of a couple of NASSCOM panels. Lot of discussions saying that no, students are not ready. We have to train them. We have to teach them how to write code, algorithms, blah blah blah. Beyond a point, company will stop saying that no, and that is how, including Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, IBM, a number of companies have started giving their own subjects as an elective in the last semester. And they get their company officials to come and take classes. That again helps some of the students. Now, is it happening across all the 1,800 engineering colleges in this country? The answer is no, because they will also select the best colleges. But I think we can easily get into a thought process saying that company is not equipped, but company has a choice. I'm being very honest. If I don't show up for my company tomorrow morning, there are 100 people in this country who can do a better job than me at half my salary. So this is a highly, highly competitive market. Yes, sir.
Anil, another one is from Vishnu Suresh. So what he's asking us, ever since Coursera opened up their courses for free, the Coursera site, there has been an influx of people coming in and taking up online courses. And most of them are doing it for quantity over quality. But what he says is, should we go wide and cover as many courses as possible, or should we go deep inside?
Any day, if you call me at 12 o'clock in the night, I will say, be an expert, go deep. Any day. Yeah. But that subject should be of your liking. I come back to my original statement. If there are 10 courses available, pick up one thing which you like and go deep. See, there is and I think Arjun was also saying that, there will always be a value for information and knowledge. So the more and more deep you can get, the better it is. Any day, any day.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So there is one other question from Bibin Babu. I think I will keep that question away for the time being. It's about the situation of international programs, studies abroad and jobs, etc. I think I will have a separate space for that. I'll collect that question and I can give an answer to him through some other source. Is that okay, Anil?
Yeah. So the international course, the only thing is there are no admissions happening now because it's online. So my guess is, if it is US and Europe, the information is that probably Jan, Feb, March is the earliest they are thinking of starting next year's admissions and all that. So nothing is happening for the next 6-7 months. Okay. There are universities which are providing online. It's your choice whether you want to learn online. But new admissions in a lot of universities are being pushed. Some of them are picking it up before Christmas, but many of them would be after Christmas for 2021 batch.
If I can,
you have any views on that?
I have one thing. I'm assuming that this is a question for somebody who's actually thinking of applying to college now, because it is that time.
Yes.
Important thing.
Yes.
One quick thing. please look at the results of the election. If Trump,
Okay.
it's a very important thing.
Man from US.
Yes, look at the US election because it's actually will influence a lot of other thinking as well. If Trump wins, do not come.
Yep.
Simple as that. Many people
I don't want.
I mean, it sounds very trivial, but let me tell you the seriousness of it. 2
Yeah.
years out of this, people are coming out and not being able to take a job. Companies like us in the US find it difficult to actually hire immigrants because we are now under the scanner. So, this, hey, universities in India are just doing a fantastic job. If just they do take a look at it. But if Biden wins, things are going to change. So just keep that in mind. But that doesn't mean that you should stop applying for it. That's all.
Arjun, you need to give a self-intro about yourself for 2 minutes. There's a couple of chats which come that we don't know, Arjun. Can you give an intro?
So
I think I'll introduce. Arjun is the founder of Pattern Systems. He is from 93 batch computer science of our college. In fact, he is going to present the next lecture on 5th of September. Am I right, Arjun?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and he has been coming to the college for campus placement for the last 2 years. And secretly, he told me that he is very happy with the candidates.
Extremely happy with the candidates.
Thanks, Arjun. So that was the international college reply. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Kesar.
So there is another question about the exposure, the chances of a civil engineer. I think I'll also, that question also will be considered later, not in this session, because we cannot specifically say about a particular branch and a particular, what already Anil has told about that. I think it stands for this also, this question also. And there is another question from Mohammed Hadi about the national education policy and its influence on the 3rd or 4th year students and how they are going to benefit out of it, well, whether they benefit or not, and those things.
I have no information. Sorry. I have no information.
I think I'll keep that question for a later part. I think I'll do that. So there is another from Ranjit John saying that the challenges of syllabus is not getting updated with respect to the present industrial practices. That has been a question which has been lingering around for the past 60 years. That's what I feel. But still, the present, I hope the teaching faculty now can just answer this question, whether how they are going to approach this changed scenario of including more and more of industry into the syllabus without much affecting the syllabus.
I think, KK sir, at this point of time, I just want to interview for 30 seconds. One of the best internship which I have seen is from BITS Pilani. 6 months, final semester. So what happens is, it's a 6 months internship. So, people have opportunity to learn, start working on it and all that. And if the student is good and the company is ready to make an offer, he's an immediate joinee because it's in the final semester. I don't know, it takes a lot of time to convince some of the stakeholders in government, but and that is one reason why BITS Pilani campus has always very high placements. 6 months last semester.
Yeah. So I think there is another one on it is good to start. It is good to start. That's from I couldn't get the name actually. It is roll number 251 of 18 batch EE. It is nice to hear from you on Entrepreneurs Day. This is Entrepreneurs Day, I think. It is good to start entrepreneurship after working in a company and understanding how it runs. Or can you start without any exposure?
There is no right answer. There are enough examples in both channels. There are a lot of people who have started straight from the college. Redbus is the best example if you want to hear about that. Swiggy is another example. These are graduates who straight came out of, not exactly out of college, maybe 3 months, 6 months, 9 months experience, but nothing to learn. And there are also people who have worked for 10, 15 years and have started, have a startup. Because a new startup means it's a new idea. You can have a great idea. You can employ 5 or 10 people who can run it for you and do that. So there's no right answer. It depends upon, what kind of business, what you look at. But most startups today, in India today, successful ones, are people who have worked for about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years maximum. Young guys.
Yeah. So there is another query from Ranjit John. What are the initiatives to be included for good practices? What are the initiatives to inculcate good practices and technologies into the syllabus? I think the industry and the academics has to sit together and think aloud. And Anil is already a board member of our college governing body. So I think he can take up such issues into the governing body and push it higher.
Yeah, I think there are 2 things in this. One is, of course, the updation as to what is the industry looking and all that. But second thing is the speed at which the industry is changing. You cannot expect a college or a university to change their syllabus to catch up with the industry changing momentum. That will never happen. That will never happen. And I don't think even the industry is expecting that to happen. Today, when Mercedes-Benz or Toyota plant or Volvo plant, when they go to hire mechanical engineers or production engineers, I have seen the Toyota plant. Toyota plant is about 40-50 kilometers from my house in Bangalore, a place called Tumkur. It is so sophisticated. Everything is run on key iPads and computers, and the entire assembly line is like so clean, so sophisticated. So they are not even expecting that kind of a knowledge from a student. So let us not be under an impression that because I don't know what is happening in industry, I'm not getting a job. No. But if you know something, it's an advantage. So while I agree that there has to be a regular updation of syllabus, but let us not be under a myth that the pace at which the industry is moving and the pace at which the university can change the syllabus, both cannot match each other. That is impossible. Even IITs have not tried that.
Okay. Anil, there is another question from Sriram Shankar. What he says is, one of the main reasons why a student would opt for colleges abroad for research and further education would be the exposure and academic atmosphere that we get there. But when the online learning replaces that, there is no networking and there is no interaction between the students. So how does it affect?
So maybe Arjun can also answer on this. I'm not even comparing a classroom session in California or Washington or New Jersey or Seattle compared on online. No, what the student said is right. It is about networking with people, knowing the culture there, looking at, you study during the day, go for some small jobs in the evening. Many of our friends have done that. That cannot be compared with online. I'm just saying that in the current situation where going abroad is not possible, let us not waste our time. Let us do online courses and upskill ourselves. I'm not saying that this can be cut and pasted there. That is not happening. That is not happening because it's not as education. You are right in the sense you work as a research associate in the lab. You work as a lab assistant sometime there. It's kind of a learning and earning kind of a model there. So there, multiple universities provide different. That cannot be replaced by online. Online is just about upskilling ourselves, and I'm no way I'm going to compare both these situations.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree completely on this. I mean, most universities in the US and other places in UK are actually having an identity crisis moment at this point in time. It's really an identity crisis moment. If this continues for one more year, things are going to change in such a dramatic way. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, one of the beauty of going into a college, had the privilege of working with many professors of a Berkeley or a Stanford, is that you get taught by Nobel laureates, no less. The people who are just at that level of their knowledge. But if you miss that one and they can't come to the universities and you miss that, then what's the point? You might as well just take a Coursera course from a Harvard professor or from U Michigan, and you get the same feeling. So if things continue, which is very likely, So, they are almost one of the things that we hear internally from the government as well as this is likely to continue for another 18 months. So get ready for a much longer than just 6 or 7 months. So get ready for all of next year to be in the quarantine. Probably in 2022 is when some return to normalcy is likely to happen. So, coming to the US at this point in time may not be the best investment. But that doesn't mean that you can't come later. So always have that option as well.
Yeah, Krishnakumar sir, I just wanted to call upon that national education policy. I think one of the topics there was inviting international universities to start sites in India. And that may happen within the next because all these international universities who have not been making money, they will definitely come to India. They will start their own sites. Now, is it going to happen in the next 1 year? I don't know. Because I also get a feel that they might actually come here for more of what we call the basic sciences, like the physics and the chemistry and the maths and all that, because there are too many engineering colleges here, so they might not look at engineering to begin with. It might come for pure science, but I think some of the best. So Harvard is already talking to IIT Bombay. We know that. I think a couple of other universities are talking.
Yeah, so I think we should be having another full session on the new policies and how they are going to implement that and how it's going to be affected. Not for a criticism, but for getting the essence out of it. Exactly. I think we'll do that. We'll do that again in the next couple of things. And I think we'll be closing this. There is one question from Shruti. It's also a very common question, but it's still valid. Is it better to have a job experience first and then go for higher education, or vice versa?
I don't know how many times I have answered this in my campus recruitment experience for last 20 years. Again, I think it's a sort of a no-brainer, no right answer kind of situation. There are a lot of students who go for masters outside or an MBA straight. So if, for example, I am Ahmedabad or I am Bangalore today, if you look at it, almost 65-70% of them are engineers. Of the class is engineers, about 70% is engineers. And it is 50-50 today. 50% are straight from the college, and another 50% people would have worked for 1 or 2 years. But it really does not matter. Seriously, it does not matter. If you're having a good CAT score at the end of 8th semester, why should you go and work for 2 years? Straight away get into a university and do your MBA. Because when you come out of an MBA, whether you have worked for 1 year or 2 years, really, if you ask me honestly, it really does not matter, on your job. For example, if you have been doing a coding job for 2 years and join IIM Ahmedabad or IIM Lucknow or maybe any other university, and then tomorrow if Unilever or Procter & Gamble or some of the big companies come, and you might be, by then you might be interested in a marketing job or a sales job, product management job. Your 2 years of coding does not really add value to your placement. You will anyway get the placement. At some point of time, this 2-year experience might help, but there's no right answer. It depends upon how you want. Because the fact of the matter is, people, while they have their experience, are also preparing for CAT. So I think that's the best way. But in the current condition, if you're getting a good score in CAT, don't even think of another option. Straight go to an MBA school and join.
Anil, Namkaru wonderful Athithi undu. It says Zinedine Zidane is asking a question. Can you talk more about UI UX jobs and about certifications on it? Okay,
I can do one thing. Can you connect with me or connect with Krishnakumar sir?
Yes.
The best person who has called, I was telling about this friend of mine whom we speak, Rajit. I will connect you to Rajit.
Yeah.
He can talk on UI and UX for hours. And he will give you the right... he will give you all the right advice.
Okay. One thing I would like to say is, if in the chat box, questions take up review, we'll try to connect these persons with the correct alumni who can help you. Pin Anil, in common chodin choikanallathu. Ippo കാണുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യം ഈ chat box ൽ ആരും ശരിക്കുള്ള പേര് എഴുതുന്നില്ല. Is it good? ഞാനിപ്പോ കണ്ട Zinedine Zidane ആരാന്ന് എനിക്ക് അറിയില്ല.
This is original name. നമ്മുടെ കോളേജിലെ സ്റ്റുഡന്റ്. computer
Oh, is it so? Then sorry. 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 ഞാനത് വിചാരിച്ചില്ല. Even otherwise, അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യണത്, is it fair for a?
നമ്മൾ എന്തിനാണ് ചെയ്യണത്? I have never understood.
ഞാൻ വേറെ പലരെയും കണ്ടു അങ്ങനെ.
അല്ല, അതിപ്പോ അവർ ഓരോരുത്തർ ഈ ഗൂഗിൾ ചാറ്റിൽ ലോഗിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ആ പേരിലായിരിക്കും ചിലപ്പോ. അത് പോട്ടെ.
അതല്ല, അത് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ കണ്ടീഷനില് ഇപ്പൊ ഈ സിനദിന്റെ കാര്യം, സോറി, ഐ ഡിഡ് നോ ദാറ്റ്.
computer science student.
അയാൾ ഏത് സെമസ്റ്റർ പഠിക്കണത്? സിനദിൻ
Final year computer science.
ഫൈനൽ ഇയർ. ഓക്കെ ഗുഡ്. സോറി. അപ്പൊ എന്തായാലും ഇനി ഇഫ് എനിബഡി ഹാസ് എ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ.
S7 സർ എന്ന് പറയുന്നതാണ്.
Yes, I saw that. Good. If anybody has a question, they can unmute and ask. Okay. Then I think Anil, shall we close?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd inform you that our next lecturer, Ajay, it's on 5th of September, and Arjun will be presenting on a theme similar to this. So Arjun,
I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it.
okay. Thank you, Arjun.
Thanks everyone.
Arjun, early morning എണീറ്റിരിക്കുകയാണോ?
They are 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, 6
it shows on your face.
shows on my face.
അല്ല, GC എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അത് അങ്ങനെയാണ് അല്ലേ?
Of course, sir. It was very nice.
നട്ടപ്പാതിരിക്കായാലും എണീറ്റിരിക്കും.
It was very nice to come back, and we feel young when we are back in this college.
Okay.
Appo sir, thank you for.
Yeah, no. One minute. I invite Sri Lakshmi to propose a word of thanks. Sri Lakshmi, please.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Today's lecture on the topic Career Options After Graduate Engineering in the Current New Normal, presented by our beloved Anil Varya sir, has indeed walked us through the broad spectrum of opportunities that awaits us in the near future. His words opened the way to the unexplored future options before us, and also taught us to adapt ourselves to the changing world to become excellent contributors to our society. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable words. I take this opportunity to thank our Alumni Association, GCT Development Trust, and INC GCT for providing us with such a special opportunity. I would also love to thank our alumni, staff, and the students who took part in this venture and made it a great success. Thank you all.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for your time. Hopefully, it has helped you to at least start thinking of what you want to do next. As I said, this was not a solution to a problem, but I am open to be approachable. You can, route it through KK sir. He has been.
Yeah, I think one second, Daniel. There is a certificate of appreciation to you. In fact, in the excitement, we didn't announce that. So Anil, we'll send it to you. Yeah.
Good. So thank you for all your support, and thanks Krishnamar sir. KK sir has been our teacher from 1983 onwards. School with college with Trainalum, he was our teacher all through. So thanks sir for the support.
Thanks you, Anil.
All of you, and special thanks to Ajay sir for managing that slide, because ഞാൻ ഇവിടുന്ന് ആയിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ പ്രശ്നമായിരുന്നു, ഇവിടെ ഇന്റർനെറ്റ് കുറച്ച് പ്രശ്നമുണ്ട് ഇവിടെ. Okay, so thanks a lot, and be in touch. If you need any help, let me know. You can route it through Krishnamar sir. He will direct it to me. Okay, thank you. Have a good Friday.
ഈ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന്റെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ റൂട്ട് ചെയ്താൽ മതി. വിൽ ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ഇറ്റ് ടു ദ കറക്റ്റ് പേഴ്സൺ.
Okay.
വിൽ ഹാവ് നമ്മുടെ നെറ്റ്വർക്കിംഗിൽ ഇതൊക്കെ വരും. ഇനി നിങ്ങളിപ്പോ ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്യുന്ന നെറ്റ്വർക്കിൽ ഇതൊക്കെ വരും.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
ശരി.
Bye.